Holy shit, no fucking way. This is a bald eagle? No way. Oh my god, a dead bald eagle. That is crazy. Oh my god. Never seen a bald eagle up close. Wow. I guess I take it, right? I mean, I don't want to leave it here. Is this illegal to even have a dead bald eagle? I don't want to be caught with this, but this is cool. All right, well, I'm taking it because how often do you find a bald eagle? This is wild. Good find, skunk. That's crazy. For anybody wondering, eagles are federally protected birds, so make sure you call this in. If you ever find a dead eagle, make sure you call it in. Call my favorite people, the DNR. They're on their way. In the meantime, I'm gonna flay these fish, and then we're gonna wait, and then we'll get back on the stream and do a little bit more fishing. So what do you think happened to it?
I don't know. Did you look it over pretty good?
No, I have literally threw it in the back of the truck and I put it on the table. I have not even looked at it hardly at all. Right. Goodbye, eagle. Later, bro. All right. He said it probably died from either lead or from fighting. He said most of the time, this time of year, they die from lead because they eat all the fish off the bottom, and they die from mercury or lead poisoning because they eat too many suckers or fall fish. So he's going to call me back in a couple of days and I'll find out whatever it died from. So that's pretty cool.
Everything is spiritual. Obadiah 1:3, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Verse 4, the point. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right, Shalom. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakak Kodash. And as it is written, the eagle will fall. All right, and we'll come back to this article in a minute. I do want to get into this here. This is from fortune.com. The headline reads, it says, after almost 250 years as a symbol, the bald eagle is finally the official bird of the United States. All right, and we all been paying attention to this 250-year timeline, right? The average empire survives 250 years. Is America at death's door, right? We'll come back to that too.
First play of the day of the year, and it is a double dose of the ball. Last night in Times Square, we welcomed in the new year, but we also kickstarted Disney's celebrations for the 250th birthday of this great country. Take a look.
Overnight, as soon as the clock struck midnight,
3, 2, 1, Happy New Year!
America celebrated a milestone, the 250th birthday of the United States. A celebration which will last all year, and Disney is also bringing the magic.
Coming July 4th, 2026, a television event. It's never been done before. It's America's 250th birthday, and since no one throws a party like Disney, we've got a 24-hour non-stop live national celebration. Disney celebrates America 250. Mark your calendars and watch it all on ABC and Disney+.
While millions of Americans look ahead to the July 4th festivities, the party got started early this morning.
Happy birthday, America. Here's to the next 250.
When, for the first time ever, a second surprise ball drop took place. A special ceremonial moment after midnight, officially welcoming in 2026 and the anniversary of our nation's founding. The Times Square ball turning red, white, and blue with a special America 250 design, rising over the illuminated numbers shining above the heart of New York City. Just the start of a party 250 years in the making.
And as millions heard right here on ABC last night, all of Disney, including ABC and Disney+, our friends at ESPN, Nat Geo, FX, Freeform, and more. We got a lot to do. We're going to all join together for a televised 24-hour, nonstop, live national celebration. Disney celebrates America 250.
There you go. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, right? Everything is spiritual, man. All right, let's go back to the his joint here. All right, Salakia. So again, the average empire survives 250 years is America at death's door. Job 14:5, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. All right, so Esau has reached his limit in rulership. All right, this is the time where he falls. Right? Studies show that an empire survives on average a mere 250 years. Did you know that? All right, how spiritual is that, man? Okay, the times that we're approaching, the things that are happening in the world, you know? It says, to put that into context, the world's oldest person recently died at 124 years old, so she lived nearly half as long as most empires do. Most Americans are unaware of this small but crucial statistic, which may suggest much about our country's future. It is past time for Americans to confront the painful reality that our time as a world superpower may be limited. And it is time to explore how to slow down what, frankly, is inevitable at some point. All right, this can't be stopped. The fall of Babylon will not be stopped. All right, that the United States global domination will not persist indefinitely. This may be difficult to grasp and accept, but it has never been true for any civilization in the past, and it will never be true for any society in the future, right? That's Acts 17, right? Okay, Acts 17 in the NLT, Acts 17 verse 26, it says, for from one man he created all the nations throughout the whole earth. He decided beforehand when they should rise and fall, and he determined their boundaries. You see that? So it's all been determined by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, Esau has now reached his bounds that he cannot pass. All right, remember, Satan was loosed for a little season. All right, and now his little season is done, as we're reading here, right? Let's jump down. It says, as we consider historical empires, it is worth noting that the vast majority of Americans do not regard the United States as an empire in the classical sense, despite the fact that many people throughout the world do. However, for the purposes of this column, the United States, although being modern in every meaning of the word, does indeed qualify as an empire. Let's jump down. All right, the point. In 2026, the United States of America, founded in 1776, will celebrate its 250th anniversary. We're rapidly nearing the 250th anniversary of the fall of most previous civilizations, with ongoing internal turmoil ranging from race to financial disparity to political tribalism, and other countries gradually pulling away from the orbit of U.S.-led supremacy. It appears that the tides are turning against us. I fear that this mere statistic may soon become a reality that alters the course of our lives. After all, many citizens and politicians would celebrate our downfall, not realizing the perilous impact it would have on the freedoms they believe they do not have. I am not sure if it will be a huge international conflict, which it will. All right, we're in the beginning of World War III now. All right, a financial catastrophe, or a civil war that causes the United States to fall apart. See, all prophecy. Okay, but I do believe that learning from the past is critical if we are to slow down the inevitable, man. And you can't slow this thing down. All right, this is the will of the Lord, man, that Babylon is going to fall, man. All right, there's nothing they can do. Job 20:4, and it reads, it says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short? See, his time to rule has been short-lived. It's over. that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Though his excellency mount to the heavens, and his head reaches unto the clouds, going into his pride and his arrogancy, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. So this is the end, man. Okay, all the signs are there, right? Everything is spiritual, man. Okay, so a lot can happen in this year as we already been seeing unfolding, man. All right, a lot is going to happen from this year moving forward, man. Okay, this is the time of the fall of Babylon the Great, right? Going back to this article here, all right, BibleBoulevard.com, does the eagle, Salaki, does, quote, the eagle will fall have biblical meaning, right? Let's get to the point. All right, as we saw that dead eagle at the beginning, all right? So right here it says, nations compared to eagles in the Bible. Several powerful nations in the Bible are compared to eagles because of their dominance in military strength. The prophet Obadiah speaks against the nation of Edom, warning that despite their strength, they will fall. As we read Obadiah 1:4, though you soar like the eagle and make your nest among the stars, from there I will bring you down, declares the Lord. All right. Hey, Esau, Edom, the eagle will fall. Okay. And it's spiritual. The eagle tied to Babylon, America. All right. Esau, Edom, Rome. Okay. Essentially what? The Edomites. Okay. The eagle is going down. Read some more. It says, Edom was proud of his defenses, but the Most High declared that no matter how high they positioned themselves, they could not escape judgment. You see? The inevitable. Similarly, in Jeremiah 49:22, the Most High warns about the destruction of Edom. Look, an eagle will soar and swoop down, spreading its wings over Basra. In the day of the hearts of Edom's warriors will be like the heart of a woman in labor. This passage suggests that while the eagle represents great power, it will eventually fall in defeat. Whoo, man. The fall of those eagles shows that no nation, no matter how strong, can stand against God's judgment when it turns away from him. All right? Pride goeth before destruction, right? Could the eagle will fall refer to a modern nation? Some people believe that the phrase the eagle will fall is a prophetic warning about the fall of a powerful nation. The eagle is a national symbol of the United States, leading some to speculate that the Bible's references to the fall of an eagle could point to America's future. See that? No way around it. Okay? The fall of the eagle points to America. Okay? It says, while the Bible does not specifically mention the United States, it does teach that any nation that becomes prideful and turns away from the Most High will eventually face consequences. Proverbs 16:18 warns, pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Nations throughout history have risen and fallen, often due to moral decay, corruption, and arrogance, as we read in Acts 17. All right. The Most High has declared the boundaries of all these nations that he allowed to be set up in power. He decided beforehand when they should rise and fall. He have determined their boundaries. See? Read that part again. It says, nations throughout history have risen and fallen, often due to moral decay, corruption, and arrogance. It says, if a nation believes itself to be unstoppable and rejects the Most High's ways, it is only a matter of time before it faces consequences. And this is what we're saying. Okay, the Lord has given us all the signs, everything that's happening, the prophecies that are coming to pass. We know that the judgment is here, right? Warnings against pride and self-reliance. The Bible constantly warns that pride leads to downfall, right? I want to make a point real fast. All right. Let's get this in Sirach, the 10th chapter, real fast, right? Sirach 10. And we're going to start at verse 12. All right, this is the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiastes 10 and 12. It says the beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai brought upon them strange calamities, and overthrew them utterly. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai have cast down the thrones of proud princes, and set up the meek in their stead. See? The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai had plucked up the roots of proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. All right, America is that proud nation. All right, that's getting ready to be thrown down. Okay? It says, verse 16, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took some of them away and destroyed them and made their memorial to cease from the earth. All right, as we read that in Job. All right, he shall disappear as a dream in the night, man. Okay, he shall have no name in the street, the scriptures say. Right? Let's get that in Psalms chapter 7 and verse 9. All right, Psalm 7 and 9, and it reads, it says, oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end. See? It's time, man. It's time for Babylon to go. Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just, for the righteous power trieth the hearts and reins. Right?
This may be why America disappears from the end times. In exactly 2,000 years of recorded prophecy, one particular nation is missing. The most powerful empire in human history simply vanishes. But here's what will shock you most. 3 different explanations exist for America's disappearance. And by the end of this video, you'll understand what 99% of Christians miss. Theory 1. The sudden collapse of a superpower. The first theory is simple and terrifying. America collapses before the end times unfold. Let that sink in. The US may not be absent because it's spared. It may be absent because it no longer exists as a global power. If that sounds dramatic, consider this. Rome. For over 500 years, the unquestioned master of the known world. Roman citizens believed their empire would last forever. They called it Eternal Rome. Yet today, tourists pay 20 euros to walk through its ruins. Britain, an empire so vast that the sun never set on its territories. At its peak, it controlled 25% of the world's landmass and 23% of its population. Today, it struggles to maintain unity with Scotland and Northern Ireland. Here's what history teaches us about empires. They all follow the same pattern. They rise.
This digital calendar, lightening my mental load, makes...
Just let that pass. These damn commercials, man.
They decline through the same predictable stages. Sound familiar? Theory 2. The Babylon Theory. Revelation chapter 18 describes a mysterious power called Babylon the Great. But here's what will send chills down your spine. Every single characteristic of this end times Babylon perfectly describes modern America. And he cried mightily with a loud voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. Now, most people assume this is referring to ancient Babylon in Iraq. But here's the problem with that interpretation. Ancient Babylon today is a collection of ruins in the Iraqi desert. It hasn't been a major city for over 1,000 years. It has no global economic influence, no cultural exports, no military power. But the Babylon of Revelation 18? Let me read you exactly how it's described, and I want you to tell me what modern nation this sounds like. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. There are 5 major reasons many believe that USA is Babylon. Reason number 1. Economic dominance. September 15th, 2008. Stock markets open and immediately plummet. By noon, London is in freefall. By 9:30 a.m. Eastern, Wall Street is bleeding red. In less than 24 hours, a problem that started in American mortgage markets had crashed the entire global economy. But why? Why did America's economic sneeze give the whole world pneumonia? The answer goes back to 1944. World War II is raging. Representatives from 44 nations meet in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, to design the post-war financial system. They make a decision that would change everything. The US dollar becomes the world's reserve currency. Every major commodity, oil, gold, wheat, steel, would be priced in dollars. Every central bank would hold dollars as their primary reserve.
Yeah, so it's obvious that Babylon the Great, okay, is America. All right, there's no way getting around it. Now, I want to make a point real fast, as he was saying, as he was dealing with Babylon, all right, ancient Babylon. This proves right here that Jeremiah was prophesying about America, because this doesn't apply to ancient Babylon. This is Jeremiah 51. Real quick, Jeremiah 51 and 59, right? So this is Jeremiah 51, and starting at verse 60. Here we go. Jeremiah 51 and 60 says, "So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that should come upon Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Sariah, when thou comest to Babylon and shall see and shall read all these words, then shalt thou say, O Lord, Yahweh Shemel Rashad, thou hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it should be desolate forever." All right, so this is talking about the future, all right, Babylon, okay? Because ancient Babylon or Iraq is still there, all right? This is talking about the future Babylon that's going to get cut off, meaning it's going to be made completely desolate, all right? So this doesn't line up, okay, with, was it Daniel, the 5th chapter? All right, when Babylon was taken down by the Persians and the Medes. Okay, this is talking about the future. You see that? Verse 63. Oh yeah, that was the point. Yeah. So let's go back. All right, just wanted to make that point real quick. All right, we'll play a little bit more. It's a 22-minute video. We'll watch a little more and wrap it up.
What happened next transformed America into something the world had never seen before. Today, over 60% of global foreign exchange reserves are held in US dollars. When countries trade with each other, say Japan selling cars to Germany, they often use dollars.
Build a website you love.
All right, but it's just proven that America is that world influence, the chief of the nations, as the scriptures say, right?
Each other, say Japan, never seen before. Today, over 60% of global foreign exchange reserves are held in US dollars. When countries trade with each other, say Japan selling cars to Germany, they often use dollars, even though America isn't involved in the transaction. The United States has achieved what ancient Babylon could only dream of: financial control over the entire world. The merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. China makes products for American consumers. Saudi Arabia pumps oil priced in American dollars. The European Union holds American Treasury bonds. But there's something even more remarkable about America's economic dominance, and it's hidden in a single Bible verse that most people overlook. And the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise anymore. Merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linen and purple, silk and scarlet, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of most precious wood, bronze, iron, and marble, and cinnamon and incense, fragrant oil and frankincense, wine and oil, fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and chariots, and bodies and souls of men. This isn't describing what Babylon sells to the world. It's describing what the world sells to Babylon. This is a consumer nation that imports everything. And here's the shocking part. The United States runs a trade deficit of over $800 billion annually. That means America buys $800 billion more from the world than it sells back. The entire global economy depends on American consumers buying their products. Which brings us to a terrifying question we'll address later. What happens to global commerce when American consumers can't buy anymore? But how does America afford to buy so much more than it produces? Simple. It prints the money. Because the dollar is the world's reserve currency.
Yeah, so you can watch the rest of that. All right, it's laying down the facts. But the point, the 250-year time frame, as we were just talking about earlier, let me go back to that. All right. That 250 years is significant, man. So definitely heavy times, man. All right. The Lord is cutting the time of the wicked short. All right. So I just wanted to put that out there, man. The eagle will fall. All right. As we saw here earlier. All right. It's going down. Shalom.